What if I tell you one wrong Linux permission can break your Jenkins pipeline, crash your application deployment, expose confidential production files, or even create a major security vulnerability in your company? And the scary part is most beginners don't understand Linux permissions properly. But professional DevOps engineers use file permissions and ownership every single day. They have to use it on Linux server, CI/CD pipeline. They have to use it in Docker container, Kubernetes cluster, cloud environments, Jenkins automation, and even troubleshooting as well. So in today's video, we are going to master Linux permissions. Okay, we are going to understand how we can maintain the permission. What are the commands required to maintain, grant, revoke permissions? How user groups are important, how to grant authority to the groups, what permissions are required. So how to grant the permissions? There are two ways of granting permissions. You can grant numerically or symbolic ways. Okay. In real, we will also see some real DevOps use cases. And what are the common mistakes you should avoid? So this is 8th video in our DevOps Beginner to Advanced series on Tech Mastery with Raj. Watch this video till the end because this is one of the most important Linux topic for every DevOps engineer, because these commands you need to use in a daily basis during troubleshooting or fixing any problem. You may face issue in Linux server, you may face issue in CI/CD pipelines, containers, Kubernetes. Wherever you face issue, even the troubleshooting, you need to have the proper understanding of the permissions. You need to understand the authority, users. Okay, so if you know these permissions properly, then you can fix any sort of issue in the DevOps. Okay, so in Linux, every file or directory has owner, group, and permissions. So permissions, what kind of permissions are required? There are three types of permissions. One is the read access. That means who can read the file. Second is the modify access. Let me note it down so that you won't forget. Read. Second is modify, and third is execute. Okay, so these are the three main authorities. So now you think practically. Jenkins, suppose you have Jenkins running and cannot execute deployment scripts. Okay, so your account which is being used in the Jenkins don't have proper authority, so that's why it is not able to deploy the scripts. Or Docker container cannot write the logs, because in your Docker container, whatever service account you are using, it don't have write authority. Okay, or developers accidentally modify the production configurations. Why? Because developers shouldn't have authority to the production configuration files, but they have. Why? Because the authority or the permissions are not maintained properly. Or suppose Ansible playbook fails with the permission denied, or SSH private keys become publicly accessible. This is the security vulnerability, a big issue. So you need to avoid these issues, and to avoid these issues, you need to understand the permissions. All these problems are related to the file permissions or the ownership or the group access. That's why Linux permissions are core skill for the DevOps engineers. Okay, so let's understand the permissions in a proper way. Okay, so let's run one command and find out. Currently I am in I don't have any Linux server. So what I have done, I have created one instance in AWS, and I have connected to that instance. So let's see currently where I am. So this is the command we have seen in our previous video. This is a print working directory. So this is our working directory. Currently we are in /home/cloudshell-user. Okay, so now we need to see what is inside this directory. So what is the command? This command also we have seen in our previous video, ls, and L is to see the details of the each file. So in this directory we have these 5 files and these 2 directories. Okay, now let's understand the authority properly. Let me copy it. Okay, let me paste it here. Okay, so you can see these are the files and directories. These 4 are the files. How can we understand these are the files and other 2 are directories? Let me tell you that as well. So files, so test 1, test 2, 3, 4 and 5, these are the files, and this test dir1, dir2, these are the directories. Not because dir is mentioned here, directories, because if you see the beginning it is D, so directories will have D in the beginning. If it is a normal file it will have dash, and if there is a L, that means it's a symbolic link. Okay, so you can see first 5 records, it is starts with dash, so dash is the file. Then if it starts with the D, that means it is directory, and if it starts with the L, that is symbolic link. Okay, now let's see the permissions. So after dash you can see this R, W, then dash. Okay, so these 3 are the permissions of the owner. Then there is R dash dash, this is the permission of the group, and then there is again R dash dash, that is the permission of the others. Okay, so you can see it start with the dash, so this dash says this is a file. Then RW dash, R means read, W means write, and then execute. Okay, so R is read, write, W is write, and X it is execute, but there is no execute permission. Okay, there is dash, that means execute permission is not granted to the owner of this file. Okay, so owner, this first part is owner, second set of 3 is the group, and third set of 3 authorities is the others. So the owner can read the file, write the file, but cannot execute. Similarly, the group can read the file, he cannot, but group cannot write or modify the file, and group cannot execute the file. And similarly, for the others also, others can also read, but they cannot write and execute. So this is the authority. First 3 is for the owner of the file, second 3 is for the group, and the third 3 is for the others. So this file, test1 file, can be read and write by the owners, but for the group and others they can only read, they cannot write. Okay, so this is the authority. Now read, if you have read authority, that means you can read the file. Okay, you can view the file, what is inside the file, you can see it using the cat command. We have seen this command yesterday, right? In our previous video we have seen this command. Let me open. So cat and test1, so you can see the content of the file. So this is in the file. So using, if you have read access, you can read what is inside the file, but you cannot modify it because you don't have write access. If you have write access, you can modify it. So owner of this file can read and modify, but cannot execute, and group and others cannot modify, they can only read. Okay, so this is the authority. Now let's see how to change the authority. Okay, so currently you have read write access to the owner. Now there are 2 ways of changing the authority. Okay, but before telling you the ways of changing the authority, let me tell you the command. So chmod is the command to change the authority. So chmod is ch for change, mod is mode, change mode. Okay, so chmod is the command to change the authority. Okay, okay, there are 2 ways of two methods of the authority. One is the symbolic method and one is the numeric method. So let's understand the symbolic method. Symbolic method is, okay, symbol and their meaning. So if the symbol is U, that means user. If the symbol is G, that means right, it's a group. Then if the symbol is O, that is other. And if the symbol is A, that means all. Okay. Similarly, there are symbols for the authority as well. So if the authority symbol is plus, that means add. If the authority symbol is minus, that means remove, and authority symbol is equal to set. Okay, so these are the symbolic methods. So how this command will work? Chmod is the command. Okay, now I'm telling you the syntax. So chmod, then u plus x and test1. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? So we are changing the mode, means granting authority or changing the authority of this file. What we are changing? The user will get plus x is the execute authority. Okay, we have seen that R is read, W is write, and X is execute. So now using this command, we are granting authority to the user to execute the file. Okay, or let's see one more example. chmod and then group G minus W, G minus W test 2. So what will happen? Using this command, we are revoking authority of the group. What authority we are revoking? Write authority. So earlier this file had write authority to the group. Now we are removing that authority. Or for the others, O, if you want to grant the authority, plus and then R, test 3. So what we are doing? To the test3 file, we are giving authority to others to read the test3 file. Okay, now chmod, one more example we will take, A plus X and test.sh, suppose. So what we are doing? Test.sh is the file. We are granting authority to all the users to execute this file. X is execute, A is all. Okay, so this is the symbolic method. Now let's understand the numeric method. So let's go through this symbolic method once again. U is user, G is group, O is others, A is all. Okay, plus means add the authority, minus is remove the authority, and is equal to is set the authority. So what we are doing? Change mod user grant execute authority to test1 file. Change mod to the group revoke authority of the to write test2 file. Similarly, change mod others granting authority to read test3 file, and change mod all granting execute authority to test.sh file. So this is symbolic method. Now let's learn the numeric method. Okay, in numeric, what is the permission and value? Okay, so if you want to grant the read permission, so value will be 4. If you want to grant the write permission, value will be 2. And if you want to grant the execute permission, value will be 1. Okay, let's see the examples. Again, same command. Okay, so we will first understand. If it is RWX, that means we are granting read, write, and execute all authority, then 7. Why 7? 4 plus 2 plus 1, it's 7. So we will grant RWX 7 authority. If we want to grant only read and write access, then 6. So read 4, write 2. Okay. Then if we want to grant only read and execute, okay, then it is 5. Why? 4 read, 4 execute 1. Okay. And if we want to grant only read access, read is equal to 4. Okay. So if we are grant, so this is the numeric way. Okay. So let's check some examples. chmod, if we grant 777 and test 1 file, that means we are granting 7 authority to the group, owner, 7 authority to the group, and 7 authority to the others. That means everybody will have read, write, and execute authority, full access to everyone. And this is very dangerous. We should not grant full authority to everyone. Okay, but I'm just giving you an example. Next is chmod 755 test.sh. So what we are doing, this is the common authority if you have any script. Okay, if you have any script, what we do, we grant 755 authority. So 7 means owner will have read, write, and execute authority. Then group will have read and execute authority, and others will have read and execute authority. Okay. Next is if we have a config file, what you usually grant, chmod 644. Okay, config.txt. So what is the meaning of this authority? We are granting 6 is read, write access to the owner of the file. 4 authority, that means read only authority to the group, and read only authority to the others as well to this file. Okay. Now if we want to change the owner, okay, let's see, chown is the command to change the owner. Okay, so change ownership. Okay, suppose I want to change the ownership of test1 file. So what is the command? Is change own, chwon. Then I will give the owner name, suppose Raj, and then test1 is the changing owner. Now if I want to change owner plus group, what I will do, chown Raj, group name is DevOps, and then I will give the test1. That means test1 file, I am changing the owner and group both. Okay. Why change own matters very much in DevOps? Because if ownership is wrong, Jenkins files fails, or CI/CD pipeline breaks. Sometimes containers cannot write files, applications crash. Okay. So this authority change own is very important. Now let's see some examples. Let's do some hands-on practice. Okay. So what I have done, let's go back to grant the authority. So chmod. Okay. So currently you can see this test1 has read and write access to the owner, and read only access to the group, and read only access to the others. Now we will change the authority of this file using the, first we will use the symbolic method. How we will change it? chmod, then u plus x and test1. So what will happen? User will get the execute authority, because currently execute authority is missing here, right? Test1, there is no execute authority. So let me run this command. Now let's check whether the authority is changed, and you can see the test1 file, its color has changed, and now it has rwx authority to the owner, right? So similarly we can try one more command, chmod g. So we are changing authority of the group, and we are granting write authority, because write authority is missing, to the test1 file. For test2 file, test2 file, we will try to test2 file. So what we are doing, using chmod command, to the group we are granting w authority. Okay, we are granting w authority, and let's check whether the authority is granted or not. Okay, we tried for the which file we tried, change test2. Yeah, here you can see the w authority is granted to the group. Now similarly, try for the others, chmod o for others plus w authority to test1 file. Now we are granting write authority to everybody to the test1 file. You can see the test1 file, there is no authority, write authority. Okay, it's only r dash dash. Let's try. Sorry, there is a typo mistake. Instead of o, I chose 0. Okay, so authority is changed. Now again check. You can see the test1, everybody got the right authority. Okay, so this is the example of change mod authority using symbolic method. Now let's try using the numeric method. So how to grant chmod and 777. This is not the correct, or this is very dangerous authority, but still we are granting it, test1. So test1 will have everything, everybody will have authority, read, write and execute authority to the test1. Now let's check. Now you can see test1 has all the authority. Okay, so this file, owner can read, write and access, execute, group can read, write and execute, and the others can also read, write and execute. Okay, so this is the another command, chmod using numeric method. Okay, so you can change the permission. So this is, so what we have seen in today's okay, so before we close, what I want to tell you that there are some common mistakes or dangerous. Using 777 everywhere is very dangerous. Don't use 777 everywhere. 777 is read, write and execute authority to everybody. Okay, second is don't ignore the ownership. Third is, sometimes I have noticed that most of the time we get error because we are missing the execute permission. Okay, so today what we have learned, Linux permissions, we have learned change mod, chmod, we have also learned ch own profile, we have learned numeric and symbolic permissions, user groups also we have learned little bit. Then we have also discussed how in real DevOps scenarios we can face issues and what are the security best practices. Do not grant 777 authority to anyone in the production. Okay, this is the most important Linux skill for DevOps engineers, because it directly impacts security, CI/CD pipelines, cloud deployments, containers, and also Linux servers. In the next video of this series, we will learn user add, password, user deletion, these commands. Okay, so if you found this video useful, please subscribe to Tech Mastery with Raj, like this video, share with your friends, and hit the bell icon. Keep learning, keep growing, and master DevOps step by step with Tech Mastery with Raj. Thank you so much.